We've now come to the final group of presenters for today's plenary session, and while this may be the last, we're confident their presentation will be just as impactful and thought provoking as those that came before. So, to formally introduce our final group, may we kindly invite also a faculty member of the College of Science, Miss Cynthia Equiza.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Please join me in welcoming presenter six. So we can conclude this round of presentation with a timely and relevant study that applies mathematics in public health. The research titled Cost-Effective HIV Intervention, a Proposed Budget Allocation for Optimal Infections Averted, demonstrate how mathematical modeling can inform smarter resource allocation and effective health strategies. Let us welcome Ms. Jocelyn Recto, Ms. Christine Don Sampilo, Mr. Charles Edson Ritz, with Mr. Roy Winsmart leading the presentation. The virtual floor is yours.
Once again, thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roy Winsmart Oli from BIS Applied Mathematics 4.2. And in behalf of my fellow researchers, Christine Don Sampilo, Charles Edson Reed, and Jocelyn Recto, I will be presenting our study entitled Cost-Effective HIV Interventions, a proposed budget allocation for optimal infections averted, under the supervision of our research advisor, Sir Kenneth James Nugwid, and our thesis coordinator, Sir Paul Ryan Longhas. Amid all the headlines and national concerns, the Philippines faces a rapidly growing HIV epidemic, with daily new infections increasing by 411% from 2012 to 2023, the fastest in the Western Pacific. And despite this, funding gaps remain in prevention and treatment. And in response, the government launched the 7th AIDS Medium-Term Plan for 2023 to 2028, anchored on 5 strategic pillars. This study, or our study, supports the prevent pillar by identifying optimal ways to allocate limited funds to maximize infections averted. HIV transmission in the Philippines remained concentrated among key populations who are at higher risk of infection, which were identified by the DOH and the 7th AMTP. Also, under the prevent pillar of the 7th AMTP, the government identified 6 core HIV prevention interventions as key indicators to track the effectiveness of the national response, and it is shown in the slide. After that, we now move on to the mathematical formulation of our model, which is by extending the core model of Bihari in 2002. Our model now aims to maximize HIV infections averted while minimizing their operational cost. And from here, our decision variable is X sub I, or the budget allocated per intervention I. And our model introduces 4 key enhancements, which are the overlapping factor, or when interventions target the same individual, denoted by beta sub ij, the synergy factor, or when interventions complement each other, which is denoted by lambda sub ij, the priority weight delta, which controls the trade-off between health outcomes and cost minimization, and finally, the feasibility indicator iota of C, which penalizes infeasible solutions. And to fully understand the model, we can see here that the first term expresses the total spending or the total value of infections averted. The second term, called the cost penalty term, expresses the total spending across all interventions. And finally, the third term, called the feasibility penalty term, ensures that only realistic allocation combinations are considered in our model. Furthermore, our model is also subject to 3 constraints, namely the budget constraint, population reach constraint, and non-negativity constraint. And now that we've seen how the model is formulated, let's now move on to our research objectives. We begin by establishing when our model has a feasible and optimal solution. And we have shown that a feasible solution exists in our model by proving that the region is closed, convex, and non-empty. Additionally, our objective function is linear and the feasible region is bounded due to the budget constraint and non-negativity conditions. And therefore, by the Weierstrass extreme value theorem, an optimal solution exists. And also, since the problem is convex, it gives us a powerful property that any local optimum is also a global optimum, thus establishing both the feasibility and optimality of our model. Our second objective is to find an approximate feasible solution to the convex optimization model. And to do this, we employed Dijkstra's projection algorithm, an algorithm that helps us find the point that lies in the intersection of multiple convex sets that represents our model's constraints. And since all of our constraints are closed and convex, the Dijkstra's algorithm converges to a point in their intersection, which guarantees a feasible solution. And for a budget of 1 billion pesos, the slide shows the approximate allocation across interventions that the algorithm has generated. Now, for the third objective, we want to compare two budget allocation strategies under a 1 billion peso budget. In the optimal allocation, when synergy is considered, it requires 755 million pesos to avert 10,107 infections, which is approximately 73% of the projected or expected infections over the next 12 months. Meanwhile, on the alternative allocation, when synergy is not considered or unknown, it requires a higher budget of 803 million pesos to avert only 8,790 infections. Moreover, this slide visualizes how the 1 billion pesos is distributed across interventions. When synergy is considered, PrEP receives the highest allocation with 61%, followed by EMTCT and needle exchange programs. But when synergy is not considered, PrEP still receives the highest allocation with 57%, and more funds go to HIV testing and HIV IEC, which reflects that their individual effectiveness are more valuable in the absence of reinforcements from other programs. What's notable here is that condom distribution, despite receiving only 3% in both cases, averted many infections, which is due to its low cost and high effectiveness. Next, to provide flexibility for policymaking priorities, the model varies the priority weighting coefficient delta, allowing policymakers the freedom to choose which objective to prioritize, be it cost optimization or cost minimization or infections averted, based on their specific goals and available resources. As seen in the graph, the budget allocation begins to plateau when delta is around 0.3. And in the context of convex optimization, this indicates that the solution has reached a region where further increasing delta produces little to no change in the optimal solution. This plateau suggests that given current parameter values, the budget is already being distributed in a way that is near optimal for both minimizing cost and maximizing health impact. And finally, the goal of the fourth objective is to determine which parameters are most influential to the model's optimal solution via sensitivity analysis. To achieve this, we use two methods, namely the PRCC or partial rank correlation coefficient and LHS or the Latin hypercube sampling. The left chart shows that the most influential parameter is I sub A, or the baseline HIV infections in each group, shows that it is the most influential for the infections averted. On the other hand, the right chart shows that P sub IA, or the population reached by each intervention, and C sub I, or the unit cost of intervention per person, are the most sensitive when it comes to the budget allocation. Let us now move on to the key findings in our study. Our study showed As mentioned, that synergy-informed budget allocation can avert up to 73.02% of new HIV infections. While even without synergy data, a strategy based on individual effectiveness can still avert 63.5%, making it a viable fallback. Also, condom distribution and HIV testing emerge as the most cost-effective interventions and should be prioritized when resources are limited. We also found that budget allocation stabilized when delta is around 0.3, which means that only a moderate emphasis on maximizing infections averted is enough to reach near optimal results. And finally, small changes in delta, unit cost, and population reach have a large impact on outcomes, underscoring their importance in budget planning. Finally, for the recommendations, results showed that incorporating synergy between interventions lead to improved outcomes compared to evaluating each program in their isolation. It is recommended that policymakers design HIV prevention packages that leverage the synergistic effects to enhance overall effectiveness. And we also recommend prioritizing accurate estimation and regular updating of delta, unit cost, and population reach, because improving these key inputs will enhance the reliability of model results and support more effective HIV intervention planning. And that is all. Thank you for listening.
And so thank you for that wonderful talk, for the sixth presenter, Mr. Ollie. Now we again like to open up the Q&A session for this presentation. So once again, kindly put your questions in the chat box or in the Slido link, or if you want it to be more interactive, kindly raise your hand and we will call you to speak. And so may we please call again Ma'am Cynthia Equiza to moderate po the Q&A session po for this group.
Okay, let's wait for the questions. Okay, number 1, possible bang magkaroon ng zero allocation yung mga interventions? If yes, ano po kayang implication nun? Anyone can answer that from your group?
Hi, good afternoon po. That's actually a good question since we actually addressed that in our paper. So to answer the question, yes, it is possible for some interventions to receive zero allocation sa model, but it doesn't necessarily mean na they are ineffective or dapat i-eliminate siya ng government. It simply means that under the given constraints that we used, yung mga intervention na yun were simply just not the most cost effective in terms of infections averted per peso spent. So for example, yung program na HIV information, education and communication, it shows a lower direct impact sa model, but it still plays a valuable role sa pag-support sa pag-support or sa pag-enhance ng ibang interventions sa pag-reduce ng infections. That's why we included also a clarification guide for policymakers para maabisuhan sila sa pag-interpret ng zero allocation to not follow it too strictly, since yung ibang interventions they may not be prioritized by the model, but they are still essential for creating the right conditions for other programs to succeed. And that's all po.
Thank you, Ms. Ampilo. How about number 2? Given the recent spike in HIV cases in the Philippines, nawala. Okay, how can your research help improve the current HIV response?
Ako na lang po yung mag-a-answer nun. So, dahil nga po yung research namin is very timely given na nakita natin sa news na bigla ang nag-spike talaga yung HIV cases dito sa Pilipinas. Yung goal kasi ng study namin is makatulong sa mga decision makers kung paano nila mas mapapakinabangan yung limited budget na binibigay para sa HIV prevention. So, gamit yung model na ginawa namin, nakita namin kung anong interventions yung pinaka-effective at kung ano yung dapat i-prioritize sa pagbigay ng pondo para mas maraming infections yung maiwasan at kahit yung resources is limited lang. So, in short, nakakatulong yung research namin bilang practical tool para sa mga government or NGOs na gusto ng cost-effective way para masolusyonan yung crisis ng HIV dito sa ating bansa. Yun lamang po.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Recto. And number 3, possible ba ma-consider din here yung AIDS sa model or limited lang talaga siya sa HIV? Anyone can answer that also from your group?
Hello po. I am also a kagroup ng mga researchers. To answer that, yung AIDS po, hindi po siya directly considered in our model since AIDS means na yung infection ay nag-progress na. Yung primary goal po kasi nung paper namin is to prevent the HIV infection from occurring in the first place. Which is why the model focuses on preventing interventions and allocating resources to avert no cases. However, yung model po namin can be extended to include AIDS, but doing so would require expanding the scope to cover treatment strategies as well, making it much broader model. So to put it simply, and directly answer the question, we focus on HIV prevention, not treatment or disease progression, because our objective is to stop infection before they happen. Yun lang po.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reed. Okay, the next question is, nabanggit niyo po na yung delta is prioritization parameter. Can you elaborate that?
Hello, yes. Delta is a prioritization parameter. Specifically, isa siya, tinawag naman siya as priority weight factor. Kasi if you remember yung model namin kanina, in the first two terms, meron siyang, sa first term, merong delta sa simula nun, and yung sa simula naman ng second term, meron siyang 1 minus delta. So it means na kapag yung delta, yung value ng delta is closer to 0, it means that the model will prioritize the second term, which is the cost minimization. And when delta is great or closer to 1, or greater than, or tama, if it's closer to 1 naman, but less than 1, it means that the model will prioritize infections averted or maximizing the infections averted.
Thank you, Mr. Oli. And for the last questions, is the model specifically formulated for bio-related cases like HIV or possible po siya for other domains?
Just to simply answer the question, it's not just limited to biological or health cases. And since it's a linear programming model, pwede siyang ma-adapt naman to any problem as long as that involves resource allocation under constraints. And it can be applied to any fields naman. Hindi lang siya specific sa public health or biological cases. Yan lang.
Okay, again, thank you, Ms. Ampilo, and congratulations for the group. Well done. I think wala na ibang questions. And that's all.
Hello, am I audible already?
Yes po.
Okay, and that's a wrap for the Q&A session for our final group. What a powerful and purposeful way to end this segment. Truly, this is a kind of research that reminds us that mathematics isn't just about numbers, it's about the impact.
Exactly. And now, to celebrate their hard work and the powerful message behind their research, we're awarding all our BSA Applied Math presenters a certificate of appreciation for their compelling and socially relevant presentation.